Hi, these are your March 2018 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com. And before we dive into each sign, and March is much more peaceful than February, there are no more eclipses, thankfully, and we have good news as well. But I just want to remind you, check out our new webinars. The first one is with Roman Kalev on ancient Babylonian astrology, and we're looking 7-hour webinar where he's looking at the ancient theory of Hermes, recently translated. This will be information no one else has, and it's about finding your spirit animal and what it means for you. There are 49 spirit animals. Check out this webinar. Also, the other webinar is with Marina. It's about the aspects in astrology. There are 32 important aspects. Some of them are karmic, some of them are free will, some of them will make your life much easy, while others can indicate that your life has a lot of obstacles you have to overcome. So you can take that webinar as well. Check it out here with the link on the information or the description below. And the third webinar is with Nikola Stojanovic, the astrologers of countries and nations. What is the best place for you to live? Where is the best place for you to have your office? Which part of town? Which part of the world are you going to have most success in? Which part of the world you have to be careful because you might have an accident there or failure, or where you can find love around the world. So amazing, fantastic webinars which are with very rare information. Check them all out. Hi Virgo, this is your March 2018 horoscope, and we are having your planet going retrograde towards the end of March. You're quite used to that. It happens 2-3 times a year, and those of you who already have Mercury retrograde in their horoscope will deal much more smoothly, like in their own waters. But we're going to speak about that. We have 2 planets going retrograde. Actually, for almost 2 months before that, January and February, we had no planets retrograde. They were all moving forwards, which means that we were moving ahead with new plans, new ideas, new experiences. Things were developing quite fast, let's say. But then when planet starts moving backwards, as seen from the Earth, we need to stop back, slow down a little bit, and integrate whatever new experiences have been happening to us into our life and make it our own. Get a deeper understanding about it on a higher, on a deeper, basically make it part of your own body, to feel it in your, how do I say, to feel it in your cells, so to speak. So let's see, we're starting first with Jupiter going retrograde, and it's going retrograde for the first time in 12 years in your 3rd house. Here is the 3rd house. Jupiter here is the 3rd sign basically from Virgo. It's in Scorpio. And it's going to be retrograde for 4 months, which means that from around the 10th of March, 9th of March to around the middle of July, you have to certain skills. 3rd house is our skills, our technical knowledge, information that we have with which we navigate the world, that which we use in our careers as well. Especially it's more technical knowledge, you know, and skills. Our communications, all such things, we'll have to deepen them. That's about retrogradation. We'll have to dig deep and learn certain skills. Maybe you start learning tennis a few months ago, but you didn't really, apply yourself. And now you go really deep when Jupiter goes retrograde. So you started learning marketing or advertisement or media or making websites or knitting. Any kind of skills is the 3rd house. So Jupiter goes retrograde, you deepen that skills, this knowledge, almost trying to make them intuitive. Because Jupiter is the planet of intuition. 3rd house is knowing something, the facts, and but Jupiter wants to make it almost like you look at it and you know what to do without thinking. So you have to apply 3 times more efforts when the planet is retrograde. So you have to apply 3 times more efforts in regards to some skill, in regards to some knowledge that you're acquiring. But Jupiter will give you the enthusiasm for that, because it's a very enthusiastic, positive planet, and it will give you the joy out of applying yourself 3 times harder. And by the time Jupiter moves direct, in about 4 months, you would be with a much deeper skill set. You would have made those skills and sets and techniques your own, and you'll be able to use them freely, almost intuitively. Also, it might be third house rules associates and rules workmates, classmates, playmates, friends. A lot of people from our everyday environment, social environment, is the third house, siblings, relatives as well. So you might hear from people that you have not been in touch with over the next 3-4 months, maybe an old schoolmate from high school, or maybe an old workmate or teammate, someone you collaborated with, someone who used to be your associate. Or maybe you were interested in becoming associate with someone. You got in touch, but you didn't follow through, or they didn't follow through you. Third house people, we collaborate in small group environments on work. They can be, from our work environment, or like for me, for example, I have 4 planets in the third house, and my everyday life is just full of collaborations with associates. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, then in the third house, maybe someone contacted you for an interview, or someone contacted you to do something together. You contacted someone, but there wasn't a follow through, whatever. Now Jupiter goes retrograde, and you can hear back from them for some collaboration, for some kind of to do something in a small group. Or if you're working already in a business team, in a small group, or some kind of a work small group environment, there will be like deepening and intensifications of the efforts needed, the deepening of those activities, more penetration into such kind of project. And third house rules media, writing and speaking, people that are involved in media, in teaching skills for others as well, or learning skills themselves, or in any kind of work that requires a lot of speaking, a lot of writing, a lot of communication, anything to do with internet, anything to do with media, anything to do with marketing, advertising, so many careers. You might be like redoing some project. You might be like trying to dig deeper to improve your skills there, your some commercial project that you're working on, to rebrand it, or to fix something that is not working so well there, and to acquire knowledge that makes it better, but it requires more efforts. And by the time Jupiter moves direct after that, you'll be able to either release that product or that commercial project you're working on, or that kind of marketing, media, internet activity of some sort. Maybe you'll be able to release a website, or something like that, that's connected to connecting with others, to communicating, and sorry, and media. My mind is getting a bit messy. Anyway, also when it comes to documents of some sort, third house is documents. You might receive documents, or you might find documents you've lost, or if you are when Jupiter is retrograde, or they might be delayed in some sort, and you have to be worked extra on certain contracts and details of documents and anything connected to third house, which is the written thing. So or if you're writing a book, third house again, you might have to be like editing the book in the next 2-3 months. Or if you're writing a software, you might have to be perfecting it and removing and digging deeper of it and making it, and have to change your plan. Retrograde plan is about changing your plan in regards to that, and fixing it and making it look somehow different. Okay. Or the opportunity for some short-term travel that you missed before can come back again, for example. Another thing that is happening is that Mercury is going retrograde, and Mercury is the planet that rules you, Virgos, and it's going retrograde in your 8th house, which means that, and Venus is also there, of course, the whole of April, which means that you might be revising, and Mercury goes retrograde from the 23rd of March till the middle of April, but you can feel it before that. People feel it up to 10 days before the retrograde period. Those themes start coming up again, and the bigger part of April as well. So there might be the need to work really hard and apply yourself 3 times harder in your skills in regards to doing something with your taxes, 8th house. Some omissions, some last minute catching up and editing and fixing and changing, some surprises in regards to taxes or matters of inheritance can come back. Some technical issues that you have to correct with matters of inheritance, taxes, insurances of any sort. Mutual resources, you might need to be revising the mutual resources with your partner. There might be some surprises that come in regards to the money that comes in your life through, say, your partner's salary, or money that is that some loan that you're expecting from a bank, for example. There might be some delay, or the need to provide extra details or to fix something in order for you to receive those alimony or money from another person or from a bank. Or there might be certain change that is happening. You know, planet is changing direction, so some change, some important developments and changes in the resources of your partners or people that you collaborate with, or money that comes from your clients, or in the resources of, or maybe your parents are sending you money, or maybe your husband, or maybe your wife, you know. So some changes are happening there. And you're required to apply yourself extra hard to adjust to those new or different or changing circumstances, to find a different route around, to plan somehow your mutual resources differently, or to fix something, you know, in some way. But again, again, Venus is there. Venus is a planet that makes things easier, whatever it is. So it will be helping you in that process. Maybe some woman can help you also with such kind of matters that we talked about, that Mercury would like you to examine. I've actually seen that sometimes. I remember twice I had Mercury retrograde in the 8th house, and because I work extensively a lot with other people's resources, because I collaborate with astrologers, and we split, you know, like we're like business partners and split resources, and this is your client's money as well. So I would always, when both things happen, I'll have to revise those relationships and how the money is distributed, and how the money system's working. Not only the money system, but who, it's a house, 8 houses of house of give and receive. So who gives what, who receives what. It's not necessarily just money, it might be support, it might be knowledge, it might be information. The exchange of goods with another person is the 8th house. So it's some kind of a reevaluation, reassessment of that. And by the end of this process, which will be from the middle of April, or maybe you see the results towards the end of April, I noticed in both of my cases that we were at a much better place, with a much better budget, with much better give and take relationship with the partners that I'm working with. Of course, it created some crisis when the planet goes retrograde, and something you're unhappy with, some mistakes, or some omissions that you become aware of, or some things that just bother you. But that's why you become aware of it when the Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury is much closer to Earth, and you need to talk about it. Mercury insists on talking about it and reworking the fine details of matters connected to the 8th house, and finding a better solution. And if there is no compromise, but I think there will be compromise this time, Venus is there with Mercury helping with better compromise. But if there is none, there might be some losses or some expenses that are coming to you from, that are connected somehow to others or to outer circumstances. So be prepared. Don't take financial risks. Don't take new financial, totally new financial investments, for example, but rework old ones and make them more productive, more efficient. Fix them, improve them, and after that you see that if you've done the work hard and you applied yourself harder, by the end of April you'd have a better working relationships for mutual resources with a partner of some sort. Okay, and it's also 8 houses, past events, traumas. So maybe you might be revising or thinking much more about the past, something that might have created a sudden disruption for you, sudden surprise of some sort, some secrets coming to the surface. 8th house is a secret house. And the planet of love is there, and the planet of communications is there, Virgo. So there might be some secrets connected to partners and to love that are coming to the surface to be talked about, and to be, how do I say, to be put on, to put the light on them and to correct, because retrograde planet is about correcting, redoing something, seeing it from a different perspective. So expect certain secrets to be coming back to you. And not only that, but Jupiter is going retrograde in the 3rd house of information. So a lot of missing pieces of information that have been lacking, that you're not aware of, will come to the surface. And especially such connected to secret information, secret matters of some sort as well, because 8th house is very secret. Also, if you're a student of occult, of astrology, which is 8th house, this fantastic time of research and digging deeper to study when Mercury is retrograde in the 8th house, of revising, of reading your old books on astrology, of doing a deeper research and internalizing the knowledge and the skills you've learned, or maybe psychologically digging within, because you know, 8th house is also the house of psychology, examining your deep motivations. That's what also astrology does. So Mercury will help you with a more impartial eye, because it's the planet of the rational brain, to look at such matters, to analyze your motivations, to analyze your fears. 8th house is fears and things that have control over us, things that we're afraid to face, but you will be much more willing to think about them, to to confront such matters, at least intellectually, and to work them through your, you know, on a conscious level, to bring them out from the subconscious. So thank you so much, Virgo. That's what the major influences. I wanted to speak about Mercury and Jupiter going retrograde in those planets. That will be what March is very much about. Certain obsessions, 8th house, might come to the surface as well, and you might become even more kind of something that obsesses your mind so much, thinking about it on a loop, and wanting to research and to dig deep. And that's fantastic time when Mercury is retrograde in the 8th house, to dig deep, to discover secrets, to do research, scientific research as well. Anyway, thank you so much. And if you want to study astrology with us, with this planets in the 8th house of occult and astrology that you have in March, check out the new webinars that we have that I mentioned at the beginning. They're unique knowledge. I only choose to collaborate with astrologers that bring information which is not out there on the internet, or that is very unique and high level. So hopefully you would enjoy learning and digging deep and understanding your inner motivation and secrets, the 8th house, with our courses. Thank you.